The essential problem being addressed is whether psychopaths are insane from a legal standpoint. Should individuals with psychopathy be allowed to use an insanity defense and alleviate some of the responsibility of their criminal behavior? According to Hare, a psychopath is a self-centered, callous, remorseless individual lacking empathy and the ability to form close relationships, and a person who acts without the restrictions of a conscience, linked to a limited capacity to experience emotions such as fear and anxiety. Their only goal is the satisfaction of their own needs, often through engagement in criminal behavior. But does this callousness and lack of empathy make them fundamentally insane? An insanity defense stems from the McNaughton rule, which states all defendants are presumed to be sane unless they can prove that at the time of committing the criminal act, the defendant's state of mind caused them to 1. Not know what they were doing when they committed the act, or 2. That they knew what they were doing but did not know that it was wrong. And a common example of the second prong is if a person is acting on orders from God. About half of the states in the Union follow this test. So what are the concerning issues here? From a public safety standpoint, we see that psychopaths are twice as likely to recidivate than non-psychopaths. They are also 3 times more likely to recidivate with violent crimes than non-psychopaths. Providing psychopaths with an insanity defense gives them opportunity to go to a psychiatric facility and possibly be deemed suitable for society after a particular period of time. Being that they have such a high rate of recidivism, this means they would most likely offend again and again, and continue through that revolving door, each time they could use the insanity defense. On the other hand, the argument for this, meaning the offender compassion, would be that there's compassion for an individual who, while he may know right from wrong, cannot control his impulses. Impulsive behavior can sometimes be outside of the individual's power, as in instances involving obsessive-compulsive disorder and substance use disorder. Mental defect is unrelenting. So is it fair to put someone away for something that could potentially be beyond their control? Psychopaths should not be deemed insane by the courts. As Blair explained, quote, psychopaths are also described as having intact cognitive capacity, being able to distinguish between right and wrong, but lacking emotional empathy and having diminished inhibitory control, end quote. This brings me to Richard Kuklinski. His attitude regarding his kills is so insensitive and callous. He knew what he was doing, and he did not care that he was taking people's lives. He wanted to continue murdering. Part of it was a job for him, and part of it was an impulse. The people he murdered meant absolutely nothing to him. People like Kuklinski should not be allowed to be deemed legally insane. They are just not. They are in full possession of their faculties, and they know they're committing wrong and illegal acts, but they do not care. So, in my opinion, psychopaths are not insane, and therefore they should not be allowed to be included in the insanity defense.